Hi there, kindergarten friends. I'm Mrs. King from Plum Point Elementary School. I hope you're having a great day today. So, how does it feel to finally be a kindergartner? By now, you're 5 or you're 6, and this year might feel a little bit different, but it's really exciting to be in kindergarten. I bet there's a ton of things that you can do all by yourself now, aren't there? Think about it for a minute. What can you do without any help from anybody else? Awesome. That's because you are learning how to be independent. Can you say that with me? That's a big word. Let's try it. Ready? Independent. Good job. Let's stomp it out and see how many parts that word has. Ready? Independent. Great job. Let's say it one more time. Independent. That's great. Independent means that you can do something all by yourself. Say, all by myself. Awesome. Today we're going to read a book about a turtle who really wants to ride his bike all by himself without training wheels. Can you do that? Okay, so he wants to be independent. While we are reading, be thinking about things that you can do all by yourself or independently. Let's read. All right, friends, let's take a peek at our book before we start reading. First of all, this is our front cover. You'll notice that we have our title, Franklin Rides a Bike. And we also have our author and illustrator down on the bottom, Paulette Bourgeois and Brenda Clark. This is called our front cover. Can you say front cover? Front cover. Good job. If we turn it over, we have our back cover. What's this called? Our back cover. And just in case you are wondering, this would be our book's spine. We use that when we're at the library or at a bookstore and we're trying to find a certain book because it will have the title and the author and illustrator really tiny on the side. We also have our title page. The title page is where we get reminded what our title is, who the author and illustrator are, and we usually get a sneak peek picture of our book. So again, we have Franklin Rides a Bike, written by Paulette Bourgeois, illustrated by Brenda Clark. Before we start, let's take a quick peek at some vocabulary words that we might see while we're reading this book. We've already talked about this word. What is it? Independent. And that means to do something all by myself. What is this word? Independent. Great job. Some other vocabulary words that we're going to look for are fibbed, best effort, and veer. Franklin could swim underwater and hit a home run. He knew how to climb the monkey bars and pump himself high on the swings. But Franklin had a problem. He couldn't ride his bicycle without training wheels. All right, friends, what do we know so far that Franklin can do independently or all by himself? Well, we learned that he can swim underwater, he can hit a home run, he knows how to climb the monkey bars, and he can swing himself on the swings. So he can do 4 things independently already. In the spring, all of Franklin's friends had training wheels on their bikes. Beaver was the brave one. She took her extra wheels off first. She practiced and practiced. Then she went to the park to show off. "Look at me," she shouted. "I can ride my bike all by myself." Franklin watched Beaver ride around in circles. It wasn't long before Beaver could signal with one paw and hold on to the handlebar with the other. Soon everyone but Franklin could ride without training wheels. "We're going on a picnic," said Bear. "Come on." Franklin was worried that his friends would make fun of his training wheels. "I'm not hungry," Franklin fibbed. He went home to eat lunch alone. Did you hear it? Fibbed. Fibbed means to tell a little story that's not true. Do you think Franklin was not hungry, or do you think Franklin just didn't want to go because he was worried he'd get made fun of? So Franklin told a little story and went and ate lunch alone, so he fibbed. Afterward, Franklin asked his mother to help take the training wheels off his bike. He wanted to ride all by himself. He sat on his bike and his mother gave him a push. Franklin wibbled and wobbled and teetered and tottered. Then he fell into the flower bed. "I can't do it," he said. "I'm never riding this bike again." Friends, how do you think that Franklin is feeling right now? I think he's feeling frustrated. For the rest of the week, Franklin felt left out. He watched as his friends rode off without him. They were becoming great explorers on their bikes. Let's look at the different pictures on this page. All different things that Franklin's friends went on to do without him. On Saturday, Franklin's friends zoomed by his house. "That looks like fun," said Franklin's mother. "I can't ride without my training wheels," groaned Franklin. "Did you give it your best effort?" asked his mother. "Well," said Franklin, "maybe I could try one more time." Friends, did you hear some of our vocabulary words? Best effort. That means, did you try your very best? Franklin sat on his bike. "It's tippy," he cried. His mother held on to the seat. "Try it. I won't let go until you tell me to." Franklin pedaled while his mother guided the bicycle from behind. He felt unsteady and very unsure. "I'm going to fall," he said, and he stopped pedaling. "Riding a bicycle is difficult," said his mother, "but you can't give up just because it's frustrating." "It's too hard for me," said Franklin. "It was easy for my friends." "Do you think everything comes easily for them?" she asked. Franklin had to think about it. Franklin went to the park. He saw Beaver struggling to swing on the monkey bars. Each time she got to the third rung, she fell into the sand below. "No, Beaver," said Bear, "do it like this. It's easy." "Easy for you," said Beaver. She tried one more time and fell again. "Maybe tomorrow," Beaver grumbled. Franklin remembered when Badger learned to swim. She was afraid to put her head under the water. "It's easy," said Franklin. "Just do it." Badger had spluttered and cried. It took her a long time to feel good in the water. Now she could swim from one end of the pond to the other. Franklin thought about the first time Fox played baseball. He couldn't hit the ball at all, but he had tried and tried until one day Fox got a home run. Just then Porcupine came by. She moved very slowly. She pointed to the pads on her knees, wrists, and elbows. "They make me feel funny," she said, "but they keep me safe." "That's it!" cried Franklin. He hurried home. I think Franklin has an idea. What do you think Franklin is going to do? Franklin put on padding. He lined the walk with old pillows. "I'm ready to try again," Franklin told his mother. "Now I won't worry if I fall." Franklin sat on his bike and his mother held on to the seat. Franklin wibbled and wobbled and teetered and tottered. He fell many times, but he never gave up. Then it happened. Franklin told his mother to let go. He didn't veer into the bushes and he didn't crash. "Way to go!" cheered his mother. Franklin was thrilled. Finally, he was riding his bike all by himself. "I can do it!" he shouted. Franklin rode to the park to show his friends. Did you hear our vocabulary word? Veer. It means to kind of turn in a direction other than the one that you were headed. "Look at me," he called. Franklin tried to signal with one hand like Beaver, but he toppled over. "I think I'll work on that," he laughed. "Not everything is as easy as it looks." So, friends, tell me, how is Franklin independent? What can he do all by himself? He can ride his bike. Hooray for Franklin! He finally did it. He can ride his bike all by himself with just 2 wheels, no training wheels. But it took him a lot of practice, didn't it? A lot of times when we learn how to do something independently, we have to practice a lot first. Okay, so did you think about some things that you can do independently? Let's review all the things that Franklin could do all by himself. Let's look at my pictures. Franklin was independent. The first example we saw of Franklin being independent was that he can swim underwater. Franklin was independent. We saw he can hit a home run. Franklin was independent. He can climb the monkey bars. Franklin was independent. He can pump himself high on the swings. Franklin was independent. He can ride a 2-wheel bike. Let's look at all those pictures one more time. Franklin was independent. We saw how he could swim, he could play baseball, he could play on the monkey bars, he could swing, and finally we saw that he could ride a bike. Okay, friends, it's your turn. You should have been thinking about all the things you could do independently. So now I want you to pick one thing, and on a piece of paper, it can be blank or it can have lines, it doesn't matter. I want you to draw a picture of you doing something independently. Let's watch Mrs. King. Okay, friends, I have my piece of paper and I am ready to do my reader response. Okay, so I started thinking about something that I can do independently. And actually, because I'm a grown-up, I started thinking about things I could do when I was 5 or in kindergarten, just like you. So one of the things I thought about was being able to tie my shoe. So I'm going to draw a picture of myself tying my shoe. I'm using a marker to draw so that way you can see it on my camera, but I would use a pencil while you draw and then you can color it in with your crayons later. Sound good? Alright, so here I go. Now, this is not going to be perfect. I like to say that I'm going to do the best I can. So I'm going to draw myself, and when you tie your shoe, sometimes you are kneeling and you have one foot up. So I'm going to do my knee here and I'm going to draw my shoe. My other knee is back here and I need my arms and my hands are going to need to be down by my shoes. So I'm going to draw this arm going over here like I'm tying my shoes. So you see how I'm adding lots of details? Okay, so there's myself. I'm tying my shoe, but I have no background. So I probably am going to make this look like I'm at the front door to my house, getting ready to leave to go to school. How does that sound? And I think over here, I'm going to draw my mom. Cool, right? Okay, so the last thing I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to label my picture. Now, the one thing that I said I could do by myself was tie my shoes. So I think I need to label my shoes. Now, I'm going to teach you right next to it, shoes. Now, if you don't know how to spell shoes, that's okay. Write the sounds you hear. Shoes. Maybe you hear an S, so you could label it with an S. Okay? Now, I am also going to label myself, me. And then I told you this was mom, so I'm going to write mom. All right, and this is my door, so I'm going to label the door. My challenge to you is to label at least 3 things in your picture.